Hello everyone. So today's video we will exploring the fundamental building blocks of Python list, tuples and dictionaries. By the end of video you will have a solid grasp of how these powerful data structure works and how they can supercharge your coding skills. So let's dive right into the introduction of the topic. So first we have a list. A list is a collection of items that are ordered and enclosed in a square bracket. This is the simplest definition of list. So imagine a shopping list where you can put different items like apple, bread, and milk. Each item in a list has a specific index through which you can print them. Lists are mutable, means you can modify their elements after they are created. This allows you to add, remove, or modify elements as needed. So you can use various built-in functions and methods to manipulate lists such as append, which is used to add something, extend, insert, remove to remove something, pop to remove the last element, sort by sorting the elements in such a manner, reverse by reversing the elements, or etc. So lists are commonly used when you need a collection of items that can change over time or when you need to preserve the order of the elements. So this is the example of the list where you have passed a list and then you can append it by adding the number 6. You can print the number, you can change the number. So let's move towards the VS Code and run our code for better understanding. First we make a file name list. So let's create a file and then write our code for list. First write the numbers of list is equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, and pass the list of various numbers, and then you can add name of fruits or persons or anything. List can store different types of objects such as number, strings, or even other lists. Lists are denoted by square brackets, so you can add anything in the list. So after creating a list, let's add some numbers of elements in list. So list dot append, here I want to add the number 6 because it is not in the list. So let's write in 6 here, and let's print the number which have an index of 4. So let's run our code and see. The index 4 has the number. I made a mistake here, so I mistakenly didn't give the braces here. So let's rerun our code, and here 5. 5 is at number 4 position because index starts from 0, and at the 0 index we have the number 1, and at the 1 index we have the number 2. So here is the index. Here I show the representation of index. Index is used to represent the position of the number. So here it 1 0 1 2 3 4. So at the 4 number 4 index the number 5 is present, so that's why it prints number 5. So what if I want to print number 6 here, because I add the 6 in the list. So to print the 6 we need to increase the index here 5. So let's run our code here, and it prints 6. Let's write some comments for the append function. It helps for other person to understand the logic behind your code. So if anyone doesn't know about the append function, then he will know that this is used for the addition purpose to add numbers in a list. Let's write a code for the modification of an element in a list. So if you want to modify the numbers in a list or elements in a list, then you can modify by giving the index to a new number. So here if I write list and give the index 0, I want to change the number at index 0. I want a number 0 at the index 0. So that's the reason I write 0. You can write anything from right hand side of equals to, it will assign at the index 0 position. So here I write a loop for printing all the numbers in a list, and I write for num in list and print num. So let's clear the screen and rerun our code and see what it will print. Here it prints 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so as you see at the line number 4 I print the list position 5, and then I print the loop. So let's cut that line 4 and rerun our code so that it will print just numbers that present in a list. Here as you have seen that it prints 2, 3, 4, and the first at the index 0 the number 0 is present. So that's how we can modify the elements in a list and the loop for printing the numbers in a list. Let's write another code for the list and understand the behavior of list. This time I will pass the names of fruits in a list. So here I write a variable list and give the list of fruits such as mangoes, oranges, grapes. After creating a list, I will add the elements in a list. So let's write list.append. Not add, it's append actually. So let's give another name of fruit that has to be added in the list. So let's give the name banana and let's print the list so that we can see whether the banana is added in the list or not. So let's clear the screen and rerun our code. Here as you have seen that I originally passed the list of 3 fruit names: mango, orange, and grapes. But when I print the list, there is the fourth name in the list, that is banana. This is because I add the name banana in the list, so that's the reason it comes last. So if you want to insert at a particular index, so first give the index and then comma and then give the name of the element that you want to insert. So this is the basic functionality of the insert function with the list. So here I give the index number first and then give the name of the fruit that I want to insert. So I want watermelon to be inserted at the number 2 index. So let's run our code and see whether at the index 2 watermelon is present or not. So run our code. As you see guys, mango, orange, watermelon, grapes and banana. So watermelon is added at the index 2. It is at number 3 just because the index starts from 0 number, so that's the reason it is at number 3. So if you want to remove something from list, then just use dot remove function and then give any name of the elements that you want to remove, and it will just remove the that element from the list. Here I want to remove banana from my list, so I give the name in inverted commas and let's see whether it removes the name or not. So here it removes the name mango, orange, watermelon and grapes. Banana is removed. So this is how this function works with list. So here is another function, that is pop. The pop function is used to remove the element at the last. Remove the last element of the list. So rather than writing the whole dot remove function and then give the name of the function, you can write just pop function to remove the last element of the list. As you guys see that it removes the last name, that is grapes, from the list. Mango, orange, watermelon. It removes the last element grapes. So if you want to remove just the last element, use the pop function rather than the remove function. It is the easiest way to remove the elements. So if you want to print each element in a different row, so you can use here the for loop for this purpose of printing the each element in different row. So here I remove the pop function here and then write the for loop for num in fruits. Num is not formal. Let's write fruit this time because num we used num previously time just because we use the 1 2 3 counting numbers in a list, but this time we use the names in a fruit, so that's why let's write fruit. For fruit in list, print fruit, and let's run again. As you see in that it prints mango, orange, watermelon, grapes, each in different line. So this is the purpose of for loop. So let's comment it out and move towards the next problem. The next topic is tuples. Tuples Tuple is similar to a list, but it is enclosed in parentheses rather than the square brackets. It is also a collection of items, but unlike a list, a tuple is immutable. Immutable means you can't change its items once created. Think of a coordinate on a map, such as 3, 5. So the number inside the parentheses represent the x and y coordinates in a plane and they stay fixed. This is one of the reasons to use tuples. So here is an example of tuple. So that's the point 3, 4 which represents the coordinates. Let's move towards the VS Code for better understanding. Let's first create the file for tuples. So here I write code tuples.py to create a file for tuples, and then let's write our first code for tuple. Tuples can contain elements of different data types just like the list. Tuples are often used to group related data together, as I give the example of coordinates, or you can look at the RGB color values red, green, and blue. So, although the tuples are immutable, but you can perform the operation like indexing, slicing, and concatenation to create a new tuple. After creating a tuple, we give the coordinates x and y to the points so that it represents the first element of index 0 is x and the second element that is index 1 is y. So these are the coordinates elements, and then we will add the both elements x and y and then print it. So let's write print x plus y. Let's run our code in terminal window and see what happened here. Print tuples.py. Here it gives the 11. 6 plus 5 is equals to 11. Let's look at some differences between lists and tuples. Lists are mutable, but tuples are not mutable. However, you can create new tuples by performing operations like indexing, slicing, or concatenation. But once the created, their elements cannot be modified. This means you cannot add or remove or change anything in tuples. The syntax is also different. Lists are denoted by square brackets, while the tuples are denoted by the parentheses. The lists are commonly used when you need a collection of items that can change over time. They are suitable for the situation where you want to add or remove elements, while tuples are often used when you want to group related data together or create a collection that should not be changed, just like result of your class or anything. They are suitable for situations where you need to ensure your data integrity or create a collection that is immutable. There is not so much difference between both, but since lists are immutable, they are more memory efficient and slightly faster to access as compared to lists. Let's move towards our last topic, and that is the dictionaries. So dictionaries are unordered collection of key value pairs. Each value is unique and used to access its corresponding value. These are just like real dictionaries that contains words and their definitions. It represents in curly braces. Mostly students feel difficulty to understand the dictionaries. So let's take a simplest example so that you can understand easily. Let's say you have a phone book where names are associated with the phone numbers. The names are the keys and the phone numbers are the values here. You can look up a name and find the corresponding phone number easily. Let's write a code in VS Code for better understanding of dictionaries. So here I create another file for dictionaries, name the dict code dict.py. So let's create a file here. So this is our dictionary for student, in which we have the name of the student, the age, and the major. The major represent the subject. Here is the subject is computer science. So what function we can perform with dictionaries? We can access the keys in a dictionary by just calling the name, or if you want to add the different key, then you just add it in square brackets and give the name of the dictionary, and to the right hand side of the equals to, you give the value of that key. Here I write air and give the value 3. So air is the key and 3 is the value. So let's print the student dictionary and let's see whether it will add or not. As you see in that, the name, age, measure, and at the end it adds the air. This is how we can add something in dictionaries. If you want to delete some keys from dictionary, then just give the key from a square bracket and use the variable delete for the deleting purpose. And make sure to give the name of the dictionary, otherwise it will show the error. So here I write del for deleting purpose, and then I write the name of the dictionary student, and in the square bracket I give the key that I want to delete from a dictionary. And make sure to give the exact key in inverted commas, otherwise it will show the name error. So here I write it in inverted commas, and let's print again our dictionary, and let's see whether it removes the age from dictionary or not. As you have seen that the age is removed from the dictionary. This is how we can delete anything from the dictionary, and these are the functions that we perform on dictionaries. Just like adding new key value pairs, you can modify the value of any key. So let's just write the name of the dictionary, and in the square bracket you will give the key that you want to modify, and on the right hand side of the equals to, you assign the new value of that key. So here on the right hand side I give the new value, that is the, let's say, electronic engineering instead of the computer science engineering. Dictionaries are useful when you need to store retrieve data in an associative manner where each piece of data has a specific label or identifier. So that is the main reason for using dictionaries in Python. So let's run our code and let's see whether it replaces the major subject or not. Here it gives the electronics engineering, layer 3, and name alias. This is how you can modify your dictionary. There are more in dictionaries. If you want an iterating over each key value pair, you can use a for loop. So it will print each key value pair in different line instead of writing in a square bracket. So here I write for elements in student dot items. Dot item is necessary to iterate over each items in a dictionary. So after that, I will print the students. Let's run our code in terminal window and let's see whether it shows brackets or not. Here it prints in each different line, but it now shows the brackets. So what if I don't want to show the brackets and just want to see the key and values in my dictionary? So here what I do, I write two variables, the keys and the value. I will use the f string with print statement. Inside the f string, I use the key in curly braces, and then I use colon, and then I use value. The f string is very useful when you want to print something in a well structured manner. Here I want to print the keys and then colon and then values. So that's the reason I use here the f string. So let's run our code in terminal window and see whether it prints or not. Here I write the wrong command. So here it prints the name, major, and yeah, but what I did wrong here? In each column it gives the inverted commas. So what's the reason? Oh, so sorry. Using the f string, you don't need to write any inverted commas if you want to add things extra other than the curly braces. So it will definitely print the extra things just because you give the inverted commas at the starting. So here it prints the name, major and year. This is how we can modify our dictionaries, list and tuples. So that's all for today's videos, and these are the questions I will solve guys in next video. And there are more practice questions related to the list, dictionaries and tuples. I will show you guys in the next video. So that's all for today's video. We will practice these questions in our next video. Thank you very much.